is Angry Joe goes nuts as Trump derangement syndrome meets JD Vance memes. The meme that you should all be familiar with is the fat hairy meme of JD Vance where he spins around, and the vice president courageously decided to put on a wig for Halloween and do the spinaroonie, as it were, not the Booker T spinaroonie, an actual spinaroonie. And as a result, he embraced the meme. It seems Jose's girlfriend arrived a little earlier than we expected, ladies and gentlemen.
She came early.
She came.
Yeah, well, I think that's supposed to be his problem on his side of things to make sure that nothing happens early. But
Oh, wait. False alert! False alert!
Don't worry. But Helzo, what do you make of not just JD Vance embracing the meme, but the fact that Angry Joe is just going completely mental?
I'm gonna answer you in sequence as you ask me. First of all, embracing a meme about yourself is in the current day and age is the most adult thing that you can do. By the way, you can I personally you gotta know something about myself. I personally care very little about politics as a whole, and even less than American politics. But what JD Vance did, it was in my book amazing. When you embrace and when you ride that wave of some people trying to make fun of you or just someone doing it in jest and it becoming viral, even though if it's not malicious, but it gets so viral that it's used or tried to be used in a malicious way, that's the best thing you can do. That is the best thing you can do to own it. And he owned it in the best way possible. On freaking Halloween, he was just, "What's up, guys?" I love that. Because that is how you do it. That's what you can do as an adult, and that's what you can do as a smart adult. Whether or not you would agree or anyone will agree with politics or anything else, that was a smart move. That was a good move. Whether or not he came up with it himself or someone told him to do it, I don't care. He did it. He owned it completely. He danced, he laughed, he talked, the hair was out, everything else. As for Angry Joe, I'm very sad, by the way. I'm someone who grew up with content creators before YouTube. I'm someone who grew up with Channel Awesome. If you remember what Channel Awesome was, we were talking about the Nostalgia Critic, Angry Joe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, those OGs that in the past they used to do great stuff, and some of them still do. And to be honest, Angry Joe is still someone that I would listen to his video game reviews because he's trying to be on just reviewing the video games from his side of view. But everything else that he's doing is just, in my opinion, destroying his brand, destroying his credibility. Because when you insert that level of extreme political talk to your gaming persona, that's when you lose credibility. If you're gonna build a whole industry of you being a game reviewer, someone who stands for gamers, and he did stand for gamers for a long time, and he still sometimes does. I mean, when you have that persona, then you're just destroying your brand. You're just destroying when you're that vocal about those stuff.
Well, that's a fantastic point, Helzo. Though I'd like to point out, I mean, it's a basic fallacy among the opposition, making this narrative argument that companies are making record profits, but they don't provide people a living wage. Well, first of all, inflation is a motherfucker, and that's why profits are skyrocketing, because the value of the pound, the euro, and the dollar is going through the floor. Number two, we live in a globalized world, so if wages go up in America, companies could just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to China. I'm gonna go to Mexico. I'm gonna go to somewhere where I don't have to pay my workers a dime," and that means no American jobs. I know Trump has clamped down on that a lot, especially with the tariffs. But I think the most egregious thing within this statement, guys, is that Angry Joe yes, he's being angry. He is staying true to the name of his show. However, he's not staying in his lane. He did not make a name for himself as a political commentator. I honestly believe rather that if he mixed politics, pop culture, gaming together and started out that way, say as an Obama supporter, say as a Hillary Clinton supporter, Joe Biden supporter. In fact, he's been around so long he could have gone on that arc. Then this would have made a lot more sense. But let's face it, folks, when Angry Joe started his creator journey, he wasn't really that vocal in his political views.
No, he was just a gamer. He was just a gamer.
And then the TDS set in around 2015, 2016, and that's when it kicked off. Well, if you wanted to create a Angry Joe political channel and have it as a separate page and have that as your own niche, like a secondary channel or one of many channels, then this statement would be understandable. You could push that political narrative, and if you get a support base off of it, then best of luck to you. The problem is you're jamming it all into one thing. That's not how it started. Now, as someone who despises the notion of change, especially when it's within content creators, I don't like it when a prominent creator does this, and I don't think it should be emulated. There is a place for politics, for discussing politics, and there is a place for discussing pop culture and gaming. If you want to advertise yourself and your channel as doing all of that in one, fantastic. However, Angry Joe doesn't do that. So what does Roger think?
Everybody can. Sorry, Roger, just want to add something. Everybody can have their own opinions. I mean, we share our opinions as well, but we're never that into it, you know. And you can kind of understand why he can be angry, and the notion of like some government support and stuff like that. Let's just remind. I come from a former Soviet socialist republic,
former satellite state of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, exactly. The notion of the government providing you some help with every messed up inflation, artificial increase of prices that is currently happening in my country is something that I would welcome. But again, it's going to be just for the people who don't have any income. So that's my mindset.
Well, we have to.
As for living wages and stuff like that, then that's something that is a completely different topic, and it's not something I think the government should take care of more than a business should take care of.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys, just to give you all some context. It's understandable that Helzo has his perspective because he comes from a country whose democracy is, well, 35 years old, okay? It's not a...
Basically,
it was a kingdom, and then it became a communist state, and then it became a Western-style democracy. And it's hard to change things that have been a certain way. So it's understandable if Helzo has some sympathies with socialist thinking, okay? Especially in a land that isn't used to the free market, all right? But with Angry Joe, the man, I think, born and bred in the United States, maybe that's why he's so hostile to this regime. Maybe his parents brought him here illegally, for all I know, right? As far as I'm aware, he's based in West Texas. He's based in, I think, El Paso. He's based on that western tip of Texas that's always bloody blue, right? Right on the border with New Mexico. But I think it is hilarious that while Angry Joe is coping and seething, we get this. And I know you guys can't really see it using this angle. Let's find a different angle. But now it's basically responding to this, to a meme. And it's driving him absolutely insane. Roger, what do you make of Angry Joe having a TDS meltdown and the fact that JD Vance is embracing the meme?
Well, here's the thing. We all got to remember when Joe started doing this. It was when the government started implementing like memes and stuff involving video games, not just any video games, but video games that he claims to be fan of. And it's the whole entire thing of keep politics out of it. Video games. I completely understand that. However, people like Joe will only go to one direction in the political spectrum when it comes to that whole entire argument, because they didn't seem to have an issue whenever like the left would like invade like the stuff that he's a big fan of because he's a big old leftist. But when the right does the exact same thing, oh no, hell all breaks loose for him when it comes to all that. And he is just getting more and more angry, albeit the name and everything, over the fact that the people that he is going after aren't acting the way that people on the left would react. Because look at the whole entire thing with JD Vance when people made that meme of him being real fat in the face, big hair and whatnot. Did he get butthurt over that? No, as we saw in Halloween, he fully embraced it. If you ask me, what would have made it even perfect if he got Trump involved and when the Oval Office, JD Vance had an open bag of cheeses and got one of those makeup brushes and started powdering his face with it.
Disgusting.